Grip socks are great, and now they're even better with Pure Grip Socks Pro. Better fit, moisture wicking, amazing comfort, and all the extra grip you need. Choose from 10 different colors for just $16.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
6 colorways released in the span of a month, and I don't even have all of them. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nike Streetgato, the swoosh's answer to the Adidas Samba Classic, a pair of indoor boots that function as such, but also because of the way that they look, and of course this does depend on opinion, can also be worn casually. I have them here in one of 6 new colorways, this being the Brazilian themed color with the 5 stars on the insole. Also, as part of this World Cup pack, they gave us a France colorway with the 2 stars on the insole. This one is unique in that it doesn't have an exposed suede upper. Instead, you actually get a smooth leather finish. There's also an England colorway in red and sort of like an off-white, along with classic black and white if you're just looking for something simple. There's also a light gray pair with a pinkish purple outsole and a cool mesh design within the Nike swoosh. And finally, a really unique brown on brown pair with a white outsole and blue mesh swoosh. All of which, by the way, retail for just $85, which is incredibly inexpensive in this day and age of very high-priced football boots. And by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes, you can actually pick up all of these boots below the normal retail prices by checking out the first link down below. And as you guys have been requesting, I'm trying to do more reviews of indoor and turf boots on the channel. If you want to see this content continue, support it with a like, and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already so you don't miss out on all my reviews of all the latest football boots of 2022. Now, from a tech perspective, there's obviously nothing crazy happening with the Streetgato. You can only expect so much for $85. With that said, the build quality, the materials used, the fit, feel, and overall performance of the product honestly is something that I would expect to pay $120, maybe even $130 for when you compare it to other products from Nike and certainly other products from other brands. Obviously, a pair of Samba Classics are going to be around the same price, but unlike the Samba Classic, this has a much more modern feel to it, is arguably more comfortable, and certainly from a traction and underfoot cushion perspective, is just another step above. Every Streetgato, aside from one, which we'll talk about in just a second, features suede through the forefoot and toe box area, which is really soft, gives you that leather-like cushion, but of course, because it's exposed suede on the surface, it's a little bit textured. That does provide more grip on the ball than a typical smooth leather would otherwise provide. You're also going to find that they have added a little bit of this sandpaper-like texturing in kind of like a high wear, high contact area for the sake of better durability, as well as providing a little bit of additional grip on the ball. If you're looking for that leather-like feel and comfort through the forefoot and toe box area, you're definitely getting it from the Streetgato. Where, like I mentioned, this France-inspired colorway for the first time ever does feature a smooth leather finish on the front part of the upper, and it does appear to be and feel like real leather, a little bit less padded than the suede, but if you want the extra durability of the smooth leather over the suede, or if it's just a preference from a grip perspective, it's nice that you do have that option, and it also helps that this is a gorgeous looking colorway. They also did include that little bit of grip texturing for durability, as well as additional grip on the ball, and in general, I don't think that it changes the overall experience of the boot that much. For the most part, pick the one that you like the look of the best. From the forefoot back, you're going to find that the majority of the upper is made from this padded mesh material, which you would think is for the sake of breathability, but I can assure you, because of the lining materials they've gone for, as well as the solid plastic swoosh, there is no air passing through the midfoot or heel of these football boots. So from a breathability perspective, they're going to be on par with other indoor models, if not less so in comparison to some that maybe are a little bit more breathable. Lunar Gato 2 would be a great option if you're looking for some air to pass through the upper. Nonetheless, the padded mesh is super soft, but also has nice structure to it with the laces tied tight. The laces run directly down the middle with a standalone tongue. That tongue also being made from a padded mesh material with a foam insert, just to kind of make it feel nice and soft and cut down on any kind of lace bite. And overall, the traditional construction, I think, just makes this boot fit and feel incredibly comfortable. And while it would have been nice for the entire upper to be made from suede, I think, again, you can only expect so much for $85. And two, this long term does make the boot feel more secure on your feet. The one thing that I really don't care for are these little extra flaps made from a synthetic material that are there, I suppose, for the sake of looks, but serve no actual purpose. You could technically just cut them off and really not have any issues with the boots at all. I'm just not sure that if you ever did need to make a warranty claim from Nike, if they would count cutting these flaps off as modifying the boots and therefore voiding your warranty. Moving to the rear, you're going to find that the Streetgato features a low-cut construction, which I think suits this boot really, really well. You have an internal plastic heel counter. The heel lining material is this really soft microfiber material. Not a ton of extra padding, but I feel like they've nailed the shape, and where they've strategically positioned the padding works really well from a comfort and lockdown perspective. And then the insole is fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. And it features a standard mesh liner on the surface and is made from a single layer of this ortholite style foam. Actually a pretty decent pair of insoles. As for the midsole and outsole, they've kept things relatively simple. Again, kind of what you expect from a football boot that's priced this low. The foam itself is not specified by Nike, so we don't know if it's Phylon or Lunarlon or whatever it might be. I think if it was something special, they definitely would have told us. Nonetheless, it feels fine, no issues at all. It certainly doesn't feel cheap. And what you will notice about the Streetgato compared to other indoor models, certainly from Nike, is that the midsole cushioning is a little bit more significant. And that's not just because they wanted it to be like that, but also because this is also designed to be worn as kind of like an everyday casual wear pair of sneakers. So you want a little bit more underfoot cushioning, particularly through the heel. And then it does taper quite significantly as you get closer and closer to the toe. If you like being super, super low to the ground, these aren't necessarily going to provide that. But if you find that your indoor boots typically hurt your feet because there's not enough cushion, you're gonna love the feel of this Streetgato outsole. Super flexible as you would expect, no real stiffness. And then as far as the outsole is concerned, there's only one variation available, technically made for indoor courts. You're gonna find that it has this nice solid rubber lip, basically running from the midfoot all the way through the forefoot and toe box area. For the sake of durability, the traction pattern even lips over the edge, which is really nice. And the traction pattern itself is quite unique in that it's made up of all these little lines. Kind of looks like the generative texture that was found on the original Phantom GT from Nike. And you'll also notice these little kind of balls, I guess is the best way to describe them, that are kind of poking out through the bottom. It's a very subtle design element. The idea there is to enhance traction. Whether or not it actually does that, incredibly difficult to say. On a clean indoor court, I think the traction is great. If it's a little bit dusty, you're gonna have to wipe just like any other pair of indoors. But as far as durability is concerned, because it's made up of all these tiny little nubs, it's gonna hold up quite well, especially if you wanna use this in a street type environment, on concrete, asphalt, whatever it might be. Again, really solid outsole, and more than I think you'd expect for a boot that retails for 85 bucks. Which brings us to the weight, where I think it's safe to say that the Streetgato is not a boot that you would classify as being light. Nonetheless, in a size 10 US, and I'll explain why in just a second, the Streetgato weighs in at 11.15 ounces, the equivalent of 316 grams, which as far as top end indoors is concerned, is not particularly lightweight. I would say that this is on the weightier side of things as far as modern day football boots go, but for a pair of everyday sneakers, they're still relatively lightweight. They definitely do not feel heavy on your feet, but also at the same time, I think if you're looking at a pair of shoes like this, you're probably not concerned about a couple extra grams. On feet, there really isn't much to complain about in regards to the fit and feel of the Streetgato 2. I think the underfoot cushion being more substantial than the average indoor is what a lot of people are going to notice initially, and it's a firm overall cushion. The boots definitely don't feel mushy underfoot if that's something that you were worried about. So from a comfort and stability perspective, I think they really hit a nice balance here. The outsole is super flexible. The upper is really soft between the suede as well as the mesh. The central lacing system makes putting the boots on super comfortable and easy as well. And you have plenty of adjustability because of that nice wide opening directly through the middle. The heel liner, I think they nailed as well. And overall, it's just a boot that feels very traditional with a modern wrap around your foot, and that they're not sloppy in any way. As far as sizing and width is concerned, width-wise, they're going to be suitable for just about anybody, even if you do have wide feet. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in a size 10 US, which is half a size larger than what I wear in most football boots, but this typically tends to be the case for me with a lot of indoor and turf models because of that rubber lip. It just doesn't allow for as much hangover or as much movement in the upper through the front part of the boot. So for me, going half a size up is what I like to do, just to have that comfortable fit. For most people, I would probably recommend doing the same thing. But again, it is very much a personal preference thing. If you're only wearing them casually, you can maybe even go up more in size if you don't want them to feel too snug on your feet. But for most people, half a size up is what I would personally recommend. So in conclusion, the Streetgato is just an incredible value. Whether you're looking for a pair of indoors or a pair of everyday sneakers, you are going to be hard pressed to find something better for the money. Are they the best when it comes to overall performance? Definitely not. I think if you're looking for a more dedicated pair of leather indoors, spending a little bit of extra money on the Nike Lunar Gato 2 would be a much better decision. But if you are looking for a pair of casual sneakers, that if you want to play a little bit of a pickup session or juggle a ball in, you are going to be hard pressed to find something better than this. Not to mention the fact that they've given it to us in so many different colorways all at once. There's so much to choose from in terms of picking a pair that are going to more closely match your everyday style. For me, this is a fantastic option from Nike. I think it totally defines what a street football boot should be, and the fact that we can get it at such an inexpensive price. Again, credit to Nike. They've done something really good here. I can highly recommend them.